Hey guys, I'm Rahul and welcome to my video on how to set up a bird bath at home. When I moved to Pune earlier this year, it was in the middle of the summer and there was barely any water to be found for birds in the neighborhood. I decided to set up a bird bath at home for the dual purpose of seeing the birds up close as well as giving the birds a much needed chance to drink water and to bath. I hope this video gives you a good idea on how to do it yourself if you are interested in setting up a bird bath. Let's get started. Why do birds bath? Birds have delicate feathers which require a lot of care and attention to make sure they are in good condition. If the feathers are damaged or misaligned, they might not survive because it will affect both their flight as well as hunting. They clean their feathers using a combination of bathing as well as preening. Preening involves them taking an oil they secrete from a gland under their tail and spreading it across their wings. It waterproofs the wings and makes it easier to fly. They bath either in water or they take dust baths where they use the dust or water to scrub away all the dirt or the uh, granules in their feathers and makes them smooth again. This activity usually takes quite a bit of their time, so whenever they are not actively hunting, they are sitting on good perches and cleaning themselves. When they are bathing, they splash around quite a lot and they spray water all over this area. So this plant usually gets enough water for survival just from these bird baths. So if you are a photographer, the cleaning activity will take up a good percentage of their time and you will get amazing shots. I've personally spent quite a few hours just watching them every day. There are a few considerations that you have to keep in mind before you set up your bird bath. First of all, where do you place it? So here you need a wide open space with minimal human activities so the birds can feel comfortable coming in and going and not feel trapped by the buildings and other obstacles. The best options here are balconies, rooftop terraces, or if you live in a nice open area, the walls of the border of your house if you can reach them. As you can see here, the balcony overlooks a empty plot of land where there are plenty of trees and absolutely no human activity. The birds are always jumping around in there and they can look into the balcony to see if there are any people around before they come in. What do you use as a bird bath? You need to decide on the size and the depth of your bird bath depending on what birds visit and how big they are. Birds like baths that are quite shallow and can submerge a maximum of a third of their height in it. Here I have two baths. This one is made of plastic and this is what I started out with. It's maybe a centimeter or so deep and it's perfect for small birds like the Tickell's flycatcher and the spot-breasted Fantail. This one I got a few weeks ago after I noticed the Mynas trying to bath in the smaller one and not being able to bath comfortably. It's around 4 to 5 centimeters deep and it's quite comfortable for the larger birds to bath in.
A few weeks ago, when I set up the new basin, the fantail was quite confused and afraid of bathing. It took a few days jumping around the edge of the water, but was never getting in until this moment. I was waiting for hours the previous few days, trying to see the moment they finally accept the new bath and decide to take a dip. You can see how hesitant they are to get back into the water after the changes. This happens every time you adjust something around the bird bath. If you need to move anything, make sure that you do it all at once and you give them plenty of time to get used to the changes again.
Birds are cautious creatures by nature, and they like to make sure that there is no danger around them before they do activities that take up a lot of their attention, and they won't be able to look around them to make sure there is no danger. So, before they feed or they bath, they like to sit on perches and look around them to make sure there isn't anything that can harm them during that time. They prefer open perches where there is no blocking vegetation or objects, so they have a clear view of everything around them. I have set up a couple of perches here which are good for multiple birds to sit on where they can rest and relax. During the summer, when there are a lot of birds, there usually are fights for the birds to get on the good perches. Fantails, for example, love this one where they like to sit and dry off after each dip in the water. This makes for excellent photo opportunities, and I will show you a few in a while.
I shot this video a few months back in the middle of the summer. It was a particularly hot day, and the Indian white-eyes decided to come bath at the same time as the Tickell's blue flycatchers. There was a shortage of perches, and the white-eyes were being bullied away by the perches by the larger birds. They did win back quite a few just using their larger numbers.
When do you set up your bird bath? Birds like to bath almost regularly, but it varies depending on the weather. In the summer, where there is barely any puddles to be found on the ground, birds really need a place to drink comfortably as well as bath. In the monsoons, they really will not visit any baths because they get plenty rain, and they prefer to bath in the puddles they find on the ground as well as drink from them. In the winters, however, there is a scarcity of water, but the air is quite cool, so they will not want to bath as often as in the summer. You will still get some birds, but not as much as you would during the summer. If you are looking to photograph the birds, the best times would be early morning and late evening. The lighting at that time is not all that great, so you need to make sure that there is some light that is not backlit. So if you can set your bird bath facing either north or south, you will ensure that you get some light at all times during the morning and the evening times. Be prepared to have low light and setting up extra lights if you really need it, but natural light is the best way to go.
This is one of the rarer videos I have of birds fighting. The magpie robin that visits is quite territorial and doesn't like other birds bathing while he is taking a dip. The spent quite some time waiting his turn. And finally he got impatient and jumped in. He got pecked in the eye in return.
Maintaining the bird bath. The bird bath frequently gets very dirty and water needs to be filled regularly to make sure that the birds keep coming in. I used to refill the water at least twice or thrice a day during the summers because of both the combination of the hot sun as well as the birds bathing vigorously. So right now in the winter I'm refilling it just once a day in the mornings, and there is plenty of water left by the evening time, and I don't need to take care of it that much. You'll also need to clean these vessels regularly. Birds are quite picky, and if the water is dirty or has leaves floating in it, they might not jump in. So I take them out and scrub them clean every week, at least twice a week actually, and you have to make sure that you never use any soap or detergent to it. Just rinse it under the water and scrub it away with some cloth or a scrubber so that all the residue is gone, but don't use any soaps or detergents because they can be quite harmful to the birds. I also try to keep some flowers or flowering plants near the bird bath. So the hibiscus used to be flowering quite well in the summer, and it would give some amazing images if I am photographing it. So I would move around the plants near the bird bath while not touching the bird bath itself, since if I move the bird bath they get quite confused and they won't jump into the water again for a few days after that. So make sure that everything is nice and stable for the birds and they don't get scared by your activities. Once you set up the bird bath, you need to be patient and wait for the birds to come. It might take a few weeks or more. When we had set it up originally, about a week or two had passed before the birds started coming in. And after that, in a month or so, there were regular birds and there were even fights for the bath. Once birds see others coming into a region and making these happy noises, they get curious and they will want to explore and see what's going on. This is the best way to advertise your bird bath. When birds start coming, there will be a lot of them, but if there aren't any birds, you might have to rethink your idea.
This Indian robin is one of the rarest visitors I've had. It took almost 9 months of waiting for this fellow to visit. Here, they are eating crumbs from bread that I had sprinkled to help feed the birds during the dry seasons.
In the summer, when I had originally set up this bird bath, there were so many birds coming in. There were the Indian white-eyes, Oriental magpie robins, Indian robins, spot-breasted fantail, Tickell's blue flycatcher, once a Asian paradise flycatcher, and then there were Tailorbirds, Sunbirds, and some rare birds that came once or twice but never came again. In the winter, however, there are very few birds coming in, there is the red-vented bulbul, common and jungle mynas, and the spot-breasted fantail which comes regularly. All the other birds are still waiting for the dry season, I hope, and I hope to see them again very soon. If you are asking me why I like to do this, it's just that I love to observe the birds. They have such amazing personalities and they do such activities like you wouldn't believe. Have seen fights between birds where the magpie robins pecked and kicked the white-eyes eye. I've seen the male and female Tickell's flycatchers fight over which bath to use, and they take turns depending on who wins their fight. There are quite a few rivalries going on here between the bulbuls and the fantails and the mynas, maybe even the crows too. And the more you observe them, the more entertained you are and more you want to learn. If you have some interest in birds and like to observe them, I'd suggest that you try to do these things where you can attract a lot of birds around you as well as help them survive the hot summers as well as take good care of their feathers. I hope this video gives you a good idea on how to set up a bird bath at your home, and if you're photographers, your very own bird hides. If you have any doubts on how to set this up, you can message me on Instagram, send me emails, or leave a comment on this video. Have a good day and happy birding.